Hi girls, we are back again with another talking video. It's just to go like that. Hello!
It's back with another talking video because you love to hear us ramble on.
Yeah, well, we've had people tell us that they like these videos where we just sit and talk about things, and we actually really enjoy making them too because we have a lot of things that we can talk about. And today we are just going to cover the broad topic of Barbie. Because obviously we are Barbie lovers and we're also concerned about the direction of Barbie. But we're not going to just keep it like a negative video. We're still going to talk about some positive things. And it is also 10 years for me, like since I have started watching Barbie movies. 10 years, like in a few days, it's going to be since I watched my very first Barbie movie, and that's very, very special to me. And it's kind of 10 years for Katie too, even though she watched some as a kid. But since we like really got into them,
and we made it a thing. We're like, we're going to start collecting the movies, then it moved to dolls, and then it moved to everything.
Yeah, and we made our Instagram and this channel. So obviously it's a very big part of our lives. So we want to talk about that because that's just, it's a very special thing, and just why we love Barbie so much. But yeah, we did want to address some of our concerns for the current Barbie brand and what it's doing.
Thankfully, it hasn't gone as bad as
I
Bratz.
was just about to say, we wouldn't say it's as bad as Bratz. I think because Barbie is definitely more geared toward younger children. And Bratz is like, the tween teen market kind of thing. And there's only so far I think Mattel will take it with Barbie, as opposed to Bratz. It's just like, yeah, we're edgy and we can do anything. But Barbie has a reputation to live up to. And she's classic. She's been around a long, long time. And people, I think they have to be very careful with what they do with Barbie. With that being said, we have seen Mattel doing some things with Barbie that we're not the biggest fans of, and it's a little bit saddening to see, and it kind of leaves us not so sure about the future of Barbie either and what that's going to look like. So when we, started watching Barbie movies, for example, there was like all those like new movies coming out, and they were so good, it was so exciting, and Barbie was still just classic Barbie back then. A lot of people compare them to the older movies and things like that, but Barbie was still just rocking her own style back then, just being herself. But these days...
Well, you can't separate. Barbie pretty much just lives in the Dreamhouse Adventures world now. We don't get any movies that are just standalone by themselves. Not with her sisters, not with Brooklyn, not even with our beloved Ken, but just like Barbie on her own acting in a role. Which I definitely miss that. Like, I love the Dreamhouse Adventures world, but I miss like when you just had a movie where it was just her playing a character. Yeah, I definitely do miss those days, and I can't see them coming back. It feels like the general direction is just to move into this. It's not even Dreamhouse anymore because she doesn't live in the Dreamhouse.
Yeah. So when Dreamhouse Adventures first came out, we were really excited. We liked the idea of a Barbie series because Barbie's always been more of a movie.
I remember always saying, I'm like, man, I just wish I could watch a Barbie series. And Dreamhouse Adventures was
and we
perfect.
loved it. We really loved it when it first came out, and we still love it. They've taken like a new direction with it. Like all the Barbie movies now are in that world, as well as now they've added something else to the mix, which we have mentioned in a couple of our videos now. Brooklyn, aka Barbie Roberts, and we've talked about how, there's only one Barbie and there can never be another Barbie. Like, everyone can be, Barbie's friend or whatever, but there's only one Barbie Roberts. But she's really taken over now. She's like...
See, I wouldn't mind the idea of, I guess, Barbie, when I've thought about it, having like a best friend like you and me. But then like you've just said, like, she's now become someone that's been pushed to the forefront, and they've given her Barbie's identity. I feel like we would view it a lot differently if it was a best friend like we are to each other, but with like a different name.
Yeah.
And not just trying to be front and center of everything.
Yeah, and that's what they say they are, like they're best friends, but they've given her the name. It's quite obvious what they're trying to do with this, and we wouldn't dislike Brooklyn so much if she wasn't just trying to be the new Barbie, if she was just her. You know, if she was just her own character, we don't have anything else against her other than the fact that they're trying to push her to be basically Barbie herself, which she can't do. There's only one movie. Like.
And this morning, Shannon watched The Road Trip for the first time, the Road Trip movie.
Yes, the latest movie, the interactive one.
Which...
and it was good.
Yes.
Like, when you choose every option that leaves Barbie and Ken together, finally, even though they've been together for over 50 years,
but finally it's official. They are dating. They are a couple. As Barbie said, that's my boyfriend. And he said, that's my girl.
So cute.
But with Brooklyn in this, I feel like it's made us sad to see Barbie, I guess, give up so many of her dreams to move to New York and pursue singing. Which, I guess, like, I know that she's convinced herself that that's her dream. I just can't see it. Like, I love Malibu. I love the setting of Malibu. And it's like, it's her family. It's her dream house home. Like, I would never move out of home if I lived there.
Barbie has always been Malibu. For as long as Barbie has existed.
And that's coming from people that we like New York. You know, we love seeing the Bratz in New York. And we like New York. And it was fun to visit.
It's fun for a setting. Yeah, for like a movie or something like that. But for Barbie to move there, she's just, it takes so much away from who she is.
Yeah.
You take her out of Malibu, like, you know, I mean, she's still Barbie, but, yeah, and as Katie has mentioned, it's weird that they chose singing for her.
Because Barbie's a great singer, but she mentioned in the road trip thing when she was talking to Ken, like, she mentioned careers, doctor, veterinarian, and a teacher. And she's just singing.
I don't think that Barbie should ever be tied down to one career. Like, she never has been. As long as Barbie's existed, that's what she's famous for. Doing all these different careers and, like, basically to inspire girls that they can be anything. So for Barbie to choose one thing...
I think even the way it's portrayed
really
in Dreamhouse Adventures, though, like, she cares so much about...
So many
I feel
things.
like, especially though, like, I just can't imagine... I would have picked her if she had to pick one career. I thought it would have been something like a doctor or a vet or something really intelligent. It's just surprising that I guess they're going to tie her down to just that one thing. And that she has to also share her career with Brooklyn, of course.
Yeah.
It's never in Korea, she has to share it with someone else. And then Ken... Well, it's hard to say, but I think if we chose the right path in the interactive thing, Ken moves to Brooklyn, to New York. Yeah,
which is also wrong. Like, Ken doesn't belong in New York, probably even less than Barbie does.
It's like, what's Ken's dreams? Is his dream, like, I know his dream's to be with Barbie, but, like, what does he want to do? What career does he, like, Brooklyn's kind of decided both of their fates, like, yeah. But in saying that, Brooklyn did have some redeemable qualities in the movie, because she finally got Barbie to admit her feelings, and she was kind of pushing her to admit her feelings to Ken, which was nice because that needed to happen.
I know, we've been waiting for it to happen so long, ever since the Dreamhouse Adventures came along and they decided that Barbie and Ken were just friends now, you know, in this modern day and age. And they've had so many moments where like, we both know they like each other, and they've been teasing at it, and we have just been wanting it for so long, and I think a lot of Barbie fans who watch the show feel the same.
So I guess it's just interesting to see the direction of what Barbie were going now that she's living in Brooklyn, and that Ken's living... I keep saying Brooklyn, I mean New York.
I guess it's in Brooklyn, New York, maybe. But again, that was only one of the outcomes. There was many outcomes in that interactive thing. One of them was where Barbie and Ken are still together, but she stays in Malibu. And then Brooklyn goes on with her solo career, which I think that's the perfect thing. That's how it should be.
Everyone's happy and they can still be friends.
Exactly. And I'd love to just get on with, like, the regular Dreamhouse Adventures. I mean, but I do see Brooklyn being in it for quite some time. I don't know if
I don't see her going away at all.
Yeah, to be honest. And we don't think Barbie is ever going to go back to... Like, we've said this before, like, when people compare the newer movies to the older ones, like, they're never going to go back to the classic movies. But now I feel like that generation of, like, newer movies is also classic now, and they're not going to go back to that either, unfortunately. We would love to see it, but it's always just going to be in the Dreamhouse Adventures world, and now Brooklyn's in that.
I think this is just a general direction.
How it's going to be.
which at the moment we can't see that there's any future movies rumored yet, but they did just release another series of It Takes Two, which is set in New York, not Brooklyn. Maybe Brooklyn. But anyway, I guess it's just like the future of the TV series / movies, which we know is a big part of the Barbie fandom, pretty much, because everybody really loves those the most. Another thing that I noticed, which Shannon hasn't seen Mermaid Power, but I mentioned it in my last video where I gave my thoughts on it. The songs have kind of changed a bit too. They're definitely a lot more kiddie-like these days. They're not the same inspirational. I was listening to Princess Charm's school songs yesterday and I was like, wow, these songs are not designed for kids. And then now the songs have just gone completely opposite and they're fully designed really, really kiddie. Which, you know, I guess is like a big thing for us with the music because of how it inspires us and how much it means to us.
Yeah, they're definitely moving away from that inspirational pop, which we really do love, to just really, either like really little kiddie or they're going like a lot of hip hop as well in there because that's, well, hip. I don't know. I don't know what's hip. I'm an old lady.
Favorite song? I know a song and it's really short.
That was so funny that they did that. Barbie's definitely not anywhere near as disappointing as Bratz is. I think she'll still...
I think we're sad that direction, but I don't think Barbie will ever change who she is. Barbie's never gonna grow up. She's never gonna... Well, she's definitely never gonna become trashy. Even if she does grow up, even if they have to make her an adult, she'd still be classy. Which is what I do love, that Mattel will never change her.
Yes.
She always just stays classy and true to herself, whoever she is. And that's what I do like. Even if, I guess because they won't change her, but they try to introduce characters to bring change to the universe.
Yeah.
To bring modernization to the universe. And
And you know how we feel about modern things.
Oh, yeah, we're very traditionalist. And I guess the other thing is the dolls. Another year has come and gone, and the doll quality has not improved for most of them. We've seen a lot of new release extra dolls. And what's the other one? Color reveal.
They're just, both of those,
it's like the only thing they
overdone. They're everywhere. They drive you crazy just looking at them because that's all the Barbie aisle is filled with, and maybe some fashionistas, but they're really boring in my opinion.
Yeah. Which I feel like the rare few dolls that are good that are introduced are like collector ones that cost $100 or more, and are what's the word? Low in quantity when they're produced. So there's not a lot of them. But they're not like your typical dolls that you would see on the shelves all the time. It's really just Color Reveal and Barbie Extra take over everything.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole Barbie aisle. They have reproduced a couple of like old, like the Superstar Barbie from the 70s, which is so cool. I think we would really love to see in the new year and the years ahead to see more reproduction of old dolls. Oh, and they did like the rewind ones from the 80s, which I love. I'm all for. I
those
want them to
redo all of those dolls. Yeah, and I'm excited for the rewind dolls. Those are one good thing that they're putting on shelves.
And they bring back Barbie's old friends, her original friends.
Yes.
And it's so cool to see that, because I wish we were alive during that time, for like the golden era of Barbie, in my opinion. Couldn't find a bad doll back then. So I'd love them to do some more 80s and 90s, even some 70s reproduction dolls. That would be really cool to see. Otherwise, or like some, you know, the occasional collector doll, but I don't really see us getting any like new release Barbies other than that.
Yeah, I feel like the playlines, I guess as people call them, they're just... I don't think they're going to change, to be honest. I don't see them changing. I was excited when Barbie Extra came out because I feel like it gave hope that they were going to have more quality dolls, because they were dolls that didn't have painted on clothes. And it was exciting at first, but they've just overdone the concept. Like, if they just did the 3 and then moved on, but I feel like they just get one concept And I don't know what's going on in their design department, because they just take one concept and run with it, and we don't get anything else. I guess just the concept that's just overdone. It was cool at first, but now it's just like I wish they would have more ideas. Like, keep those ideas coming with something new and something different. But yeah, I just feel like that's just going to be the future of Barbie. We'll probably see more color reveals next year. More, because they also have that other thing, cutie reveals too. So we're going to see just more of those and more Barbie extras. But I guess for us collectors, you just have to hold on to those collector dolls. But nice that they still cater to collectors though. Like, they have their kids lines for children, but they release their collector dolls for adults, which is nice that they consider all of their markets.
Yes.
Just some other doll brands don't do.
Yeah.
But also we can see the things we're thankful for. Like, even though the movies aren't great anymore, we're still thankful that they're making them.
Mm-hmm. And there's still something always good in them, I think.
Yeah.
There's always redeeming qualities. There's always something, nice and inspiring in it, or funny or cute when it comes to Ken and Barbie.
Even when it comes to just Ken on this own, Ken's just a cute man.
He is. He really is. So precious. But yeah, and there's always some essence of Barbie left, and I think there's always going to be that. And I think that's just one reason why we love Barbie so much, is she never really changes.
Yeah, because I think the thing with Bratz is it just, right now it's unrecognizable. There's nothing in it that's, except for the original dolls. But aside from that, what Bratz is now, there's nothing at the heart of it that's like the original. But with Barbie, like, Barbie's still herself. She's still kind, she's still loving, she's still an amazing friend. Now she's an amazing girlfriend. She's still smart, and she's still so helpful. She's just still the core of who she is. Mm-hmm. She hasn't changed. She's still stylish, and yeah. I guess, is there any other points we had?
No, I think that's about all with, like...
Yeah. Do we want to answer some of our Qs?
Yeah, we'll do that, yeah. We thought we'd answer some questions that we put on Instagram, if you guys wanted to ask us. We wanted to make like a Q&A, but didn't get quite enough questions for that. So we thought we'd just put it in this video, and a lot of them are about Barbie anyway. Yes. So yeah, we thought we'd just answer them for you. I know this is a very random video, but yes, that's what we are, very random, being true to ourselves. But there were some really good questions, and we wanted to answer them.
Barbie's like been at the core of our friendship for the last 10 years now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had our Instagram account now for 9 years, like the longest running Barbie Instagram account ever. Yes. We've seen them all come and go. This one just really stood out to me, particularly because it is like the 10th anniversary of us and Barbie. So it's, what's a core memory with Barbie that's forever made an impression on you both? And so for me, it was the very first time I ever watched a Barbie movie. It was Swan Lake. I watched it on TV. I was just flicking through the stations. One day, I remember it was like December 12th. I remember that, and it was a hot day. Like, I just remember so much about this, and there was an Australian channel named Boomerang, of course, and the Barbie movies always played on that. And I came across it. It was just starting. It was Odette dancing around in a bakery, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like a Barbie movie. It's like, I've like always sort of known about them, but I've never watched them. I've always wanted to watch one, so I was so curious. And I just watched it. I like brought my brother in to watch it. Like, do you want to watch this with me? And he actually did. And I was absolutely enchanted by it. I loved it so much. I thought the animation was really cool. Just different to what I had watched my whole life, I suppose. And just everything about it, it just made me feel so good. And Swan Lake is my favorite to this day. It's so special to me, and I guess that has made the biggest impact because Barbie came into my world after that, and I couldn't imagine my life without Barbie. I mean, we revolve so much of our lives around the things we watch, and especially Barbie. We have this channel, our Instagram. We spend a lot of our money on Barbie. We'd be rich if we didn't buy these things, but I love Barbie so much. I could not imagine my life without her. She has brought so much comfort and joy and inspiration and just everything good to me, and has made like probably like the biggest impact, maybe even out of all of the things that I love, has probably been Barbie. And she's always there, she's always constant, and yeah, I guess that's why I chose that memory, because that was just the start of it all for me, and it's really special. So.
Um, well, I could think of a memory that I guess is like so impactful like Shannon's, but one memory that really sticks out to me is the day I watched Pink Shoes for the first time, which if you don't know, it's my favorite Barbie movie. But like, I don't remember, I think I was feeling down that day, and I was like, oh, I just want to do something that's going to make me feel good. So we used to live in a small town that had nothing there, so you had to like go to the next town to go to the shops and stuff, like all the big shops that sold things. And so I was like, I'm going to take a day trip there by myself, and I'm going to buy some yummy food. And like, I went to the DVD shop, and then I went straight to the Barbie section, because Shannon and I were into Barbie at this point, and I had a few Barbie DVDs. And I think Pink Shoes had just come out, because it was like on display there. It wasn't just like piled up, it was on display there. And I was like, oh, this is a new one. So I picked up Pink Shoes, I went home that night, I had my yummy foods, and then I just remember like the warm feeling when I put it on and I watched it. And then after that, Pink Shoes was just my favorite Barbie movie, and that has not changed. And I don't know, it's just like a special memory. It just like, I just feel warm when I think about that night. Like I can image that night that I sat down to watch it, and how good Pink Shoes made me feel. So that's my favorite memory, I think.
I love that. Yeah, I have similar memories with Barbie movies, and I think it's just how they always make us feel. Like that's the memory we can't describe, but
I really wish I could relive the moments where you would buy a new Barbie movie,
when we were getting into
Barbie, and there was like there was like 20 DVDs at the time to get, and you'd like buy like Rapunzel for the first time and watch it.
Yes, like when all the Barbie movies were new.
Princess and the Pauper.
Yeah,
like all of those were brand
so
new.
exciting.
Just so exciting to buy them all for the first time, and to have like 3 Barbie DVDs. I have 3, and now I have over 30.
Yeah,
we probably have closer to 40 now, I'd say.
Yeah, including like all the TV series and like the newer movies and everything. So, yeah. I think our memories with Barbie are always going to be with the movies, because those are the things that impacted us the most, and how we got into Barbie in the first place. So, yes, I could tell many stories about that. What's your favorite doll from your collection? Just a moment. Okay, so I did happen to bring my favorite Barbie with me, because we did go and see the Nutcracker ballet last night, which was so exciting. And I have, of course, had to bring none other than my Clara from Barbie and the Nutcracker. She's my favorite Barbie doll, for so many reasons. I just think she's so beautiful. I love how delicate she is. She just feels different to all of the rest of them. And just because she's from the first Barbie movie, the one that started it all. And, she's like ballet Barbie. I think Barbie and ballet go so well together, and they're two things that, we love. And I just think it's just the essence of Barbie. Like, if she should be anything, it should be a ballerina, I think.
Yeah. And I think, because my sister got this doll when I was a kid, and I was enchanted with this doll. It's just something about it, like the curls and the pretty sparkly pink tutu, the tights, all the movable joints of her slippers, like everything about it is like just so gorgeous.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to put into words, but there's just something about her that will always be really special to me. And I often look at my dolls, and I think if I had to choose like one doll that I could keep, it would be this one. Yeah, and I think she's always just going to be my favorite Barbie. I don't really see another one taking her place, even though Katie's favorite is like very close.
Which my favorite doll is none other than Annika. I love Magic of Pegasus so much. It's my second favorite Barbie movie. So close to being a first, like really, really close, but I just can't bear to like put anything above Pink Shoes. But it's like this close to being my first favorite Barbie movie. And I just love it. I love purple. I'm wearing purple right now. But there's so much that I love about Annika just as a character. And then this doll is just so pretty. Like that purple gown, the wands of light, and her crown and everything. She's just so pretty. Yeah, our favorite Barbie dolls.
Would you rather live in Mermaidia or Fairytopia? So, Katie has a hard time deciding this. I decided on Fairytopia. As much as I love the ocean, and that would be amazing, I think you just
But
have...
you'd be able to
You have more...
flying.
Yeah. Exactly. And who doesn't want to fly? And I think you'd have more in Fairytopia. Obviously there's the flying thing, you know, I would love to be... I am a fairy. I'm a wingless fairy, like Alina. No. But I would love to live... And just because, you know, Fairytopia and the Magic Meadow is so beautiful. Like, she lives in a flower. Like, if I could live in a flower, that'd be amazing. You know, I love flowers, I love plants. I think the Fairytopia, the whole landscape of it, and it's just a beautiful setting, and I always wish that I could actually live there whenever I watch it. So I think I would definitely choose Fairytopia.
Yeah, it's so hard for me because I think like I just like the idea of flying.
Yeah.
Flying.
It doesn't.
But then like I really do love the Mermaidia movie. It just has like a really special spot in my heart to me. I mean, it's like a very big comfort movie to me. And I don't know, I do like to like I love the ocean. I love the idea of being in the ocean and having a tail. I don't know. It's really hard. I guess I'd probably pick Mermaidia if I really had to decide. Well, that's a really hard decision.
It is. It is very hard. Okay. If you could live in a fairy tale, what would it be? So I'm guessing that's just any fairy tale. It could be Barbie, it could be Disney. I don't know. I mean, I guess just my own. You know, I can tell you how my own would go. But I don't know. Maybe if I just chose one, maybe like Cinderella, Rapunzel, or Sleeping Beauty.
Cinderella.
Just those three are my favorite fairy tales. So, but it's what?
No, I was just thinking about the West. And then I'm thinking of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh goodness. But I guess perhaps Cinderella. I mean I am obsessed with Cinderella. It is like forever my favorite story, and I guess it doesn't get more classic than that. I don't even know, like, yeah, there's no like or why, so I'm not going to explain too much like why. I just think if you know me well enough, like the answer's going to be Cinderella. So, or just like my own Cinderella story, I suppose.
I don't know. I guess like when I look at my top like favorite Disney movies and Barbie movies, I do really like Beauty and the Beast, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to be entrapped by a beast because that's scary. No, but then they have that dance scene, and I'd love to do that dance scene. Yeah, okay, maybe Beauty and the Beast.
Any scene that has like a ball dance in it.
Yes.
Any fairy tale that has a dance at a ball.
Yeah, perhaps Beauty and the Beast then.
Beauty and the Beast. What character do you relate the most to, Barbie and non-Barbie character? So in Barbie, I think we're going to both say the same thing. It's Princess Annika. Yeah. Princess Annika from the Magic of Pegasus. We've talked about this so much. She's our favourite character for so many reasons. The most relatable one to us. And non-Barbie character...
Yeah, we weren't sure if they meant like not from the Barbie universe or just like not a main Barbie character.
Well, actually, I wasn't going to say Annika, was I? She's my favourite character, but she's not the one I relate to the most.
I would have thought you'd say Mariposa.
That's what I was going to say. I got so... I'm confused. Okay, so, no, I'm going to change my whole answer to that. Annika is my favourite character, and I can relate to her the most, but the one... not the most! I can relate to her
the second most.
Yeah. I don't know how to speak. But the character that I can relate to the most is Mariposa. It's always been that for me. I've always loved the Mariposa movie ever since it came out. I relate to her so much, and her fears, her insecurities, feeling like she's different, and, you know, the fact that she's just a bookworm and she doesn't go out partying, things like that. But she's also very brave when she has to be, and when she discovers this about herself, she can do amazing things. And I'm discovering that about myself too, more than ever, so I always think of Mariposa these days. But for years she just inspired me, because I could relate to her struggles, but also found so much inspiration and strength in her overcoming them. So yeah, she is the one I relate to the most, but I also relate to Annika.
And then, so what are we going to say for
a non-Barbie character? So I'm just going to say maybe like a Disney one.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Because I feel like if we had to pick like a non-Barbie, like a side character, I don't really know who I would pick because...
We don't really focus on them as much.
Yeah. I don't feel like we know them as much to really say who we would relate to, so...
Yeah. Yeah, so for a Disney character, yeah, either Cinderella or Rapunzel for me. I don't, it would be really long to explain all the reasons why, but...
Yeah, I feel like mine are a tie between all my favourite movies, because, like, Mulan and Elsa and Belle, because there's just bits and pieces of all of them that I take from their personalities and that I see in myself, and it is a really long answer.
Yeah.
So I feel like they just all have such qualities that I either aspire to have or I just see myself in having.
Yeah.
Perhaps the biggest thing being that they're just all really strong women.
Yeah.
And they also have their gentle, caring side, though. And I guess what makes them strong is the courage for the things they're doing to protect their family, or, yeah, to protect their family, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I guess that's just what I really like about them.
Yeah. Good. What do you imagine your dream home to look like?
This is a funny question.
I'll let you go first if you want. Oh no, I'll go first because for me, it's very simple. Like I just want a cottage in the woods.
Diamond Castle.
With my
cottage.
own garden, yeah, Diamond Castle, pretty much. No, but like I don't need anything big or elaborate. I just want to have this nice little house out in the countryside, and where I can have my own garden, and there's green everywhere, and there's trees and plants, and just to be surrounded by nature is what I really want. But when it comes to my actual home, just a space where I can plant a garden outside, and just, I don't need a big house, I don't need a fancy house. Actually, the older it is, the better. I love old buildings, old houses, of the rustic look. So yeah, just to me, it's just very simple. I don't think I really... And I don't want it to be modern. I don't like modern things at all. I don't think there's anything I like that's modern. So yeah, just the older it is, the better, as long as it's still functional. But I would actually love to get an old house and actually, like, do it up and, like, fix it. That would be so... I would love that, to be honest. And, like, make it my own, and my own home one day.
Shannon and I were kids, we had to like design our dream homes for a class.
Completely different to what I just said. We were just so silly.
Were like, and it was like solid gold walls with emeralds for grass, and there would be a pool, and the pool wouldn't have water in it, it'd have sapphires in it, because that would be comfortable to swim in. And it was like no windows, so people couldn't break in. And it had an aquarium in it. It had like a cinema in it. Yeah. I was like trying to think of everything big and grand that could fit into a house. My actual dream house. Oh, and I was like diamonds for doorknobs or something. Yeah. My actual dream house, to be honest, I have never really thought a lot about this because I want a really nice clean home. I just want a home that's clean, that has all my stuff in it. I never really think about it much because I just hope for someone to share it with.
Exactly.
Which I have. It's just, I think the most important that, to me, it's always felt like I don't care where I live, whether I live in like a big fancy mansion or I live in a little shack. Like if I'm living with the person that I love, then that's the most important thing to me. Like I've never had like a big grandiose dream about what my home looks like. Maybe I feel like the only thing I'm concerned about is like, to the person that I love, that I live with, like, you take care of the rest of the house and I'll just do my doll room up the way I want it. Like, I don't care about
there must be a room for the dolls.
I was like, I don't care how the rest of the house looks, just my doll room.
That was really good. I mean, if you want to get really deep into that, I wasn't going to, but since Katie like mentioned it, to me, home is always people, the people that you love. And so when like, that is what I imagine. I imagine a very simple home, but because I imagine a simple life in a simple home with the one I love. That's all I want. you know, and just to be surrounded by nature and all those other things that I love. It's very simple. Don't ask for that much.
Lots of fairy lights in the home.
Yes, yes, fairy lights in general.
Yeah.
Fairy lights in the garden too. That would
No
be
stairs in
amazing.
my home because I struggle to get up them.
Yeah. All right, next question. What's your favorite non-royal Disney movie? So basically, your favorite non-Disney princess movie, which is so funny to ask us because, well, I think people know that we really love the Disney princess movies.
Because that just feels like Disney to us. Like when we think of Disney, we don't think of like Pixar. Like when I ask someone their favorite,
or anything modern.
Yeah, or anything modern. Really, I feel like the cutoff point for me when I ask you a favorite Disney movie, it's not Pixar and it's pre-Frozen, like Frozen and before. That's then anything after that is too modern. Even though like Frozen was almost 10 years ago, just insane.
It's ancient now.
Favorite non-one. Oh, you might have an answer for this.
Yeah. For me, well, I really like the movie Atlantis. I don't know if that counts as non-royal. I mean, there is a princess in it, but it might count. If it does, then that. But I also really like the animal, like, centered Disney movies. So obviously there's The Lion King, but then there's like the lesser popular ones like Aristocats, 101 Dalmatians. I really like Robin Hood. Actually, that's really funny. But I would say 101 Dalmatians because I love dogs. And that. Yeah, and I actually really like the live action versions of those made in the 90s. I watched them a lot. But I love the animated version too. And I just find a lot of comfort in the animal Disney movies, the animal centered ones. There's something about them that I really, really love. And if I had to choose one, even though I was obsessed with the Aristocats growing up, I would say 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I'd answer, but I think it would be the Aristocats actually, because I do really like that movie, and I have 3 cats myself, so I'm definitely a cat lady, and I do like dogs too. But yeah, I think I just really like that one a lot. Yeah.
Favorite Barbie sidekick? Bibble.
What's the name of...
That was so simple. Zinzi?
Oh yes, Cinzia. I was thinking about it before. I forgot it. Yeah, Cinzia. It's a rabbit. Rabbit's my favorite.
We haven't changed. Like we did this Barbie tag at the beginning of our channel, and my favorite was Bibble and hers was Zinzi. Yep. Still hasn't changed. Iconic little creatures they are. Okay, so I think this is the last question. Hopefully I haven't lost any, but the question is, how do you guys manage long distance friendships and how to secure and keep that going? So this is a very good question for us to answer.
Yes. So I moved states 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we've been best friends
for 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years now.
And it was really rough at the start. Because we
were figuring things out still, and it was hard to figure out what works, especially because then we weren't allowed to travel, because we had plans like, oh yeah, we'll see each other this day, and then suddenly we weren't allowed to travel anymore. So then that made it really hard, because it's like, well, we can't see each other. Like, what do we do?
Yeah, and even like before all of that started with not being able to travel and stuff, yeah, like it was really hard. We've never actually been any more than half an hour apart from each other growing up, and so for Katie to move to the other side of the country, it was a very big deal, and I think it didn't take us too long. It took us a little while to figure out how we were going to do that, because it was new to us. You know, we weren't used to being that far apart.
And messaging wasn't that great, because I feel like there's just so much to say sometimes. I think it was I that suggested, I was like, why don't we start doing weekly phone calls? Because when we were kids, phone calls, we called each other every night after school, even though we just was together the whole day.
And then we'd get on MSN and start talking to each other, and we'd do it all again the next day.
But I was like, our phone calls used to be like something we'd spend hours doing as kids. So I was like, well, why don't we try that again? And then that just became the thing. So that we always knew we'd be talking to each other for hours every week. So even if we didn't have time to message, or I don't know, it's just a way that we could be talking and spending time, which really helped.
Exactly. And Katie did come up with that idea, and I remember this, I don't know if she does or not, but it was after I'd messaged her saying that I missed her, because we weren't talking that much at the time, because she just moved, and I said, I feel like we're not connected as much anymore, because we're so far away, and I was scared to message her that, because I wasn't sure how she was going to react to that, but I think it was really important that I did that, and that I was honest with her and sort of like, I want us to be able to communicate still. And then she received it obviously really well, and she agreed. And, you know, she said that we would call, she's like, how about we call every Sunday? And so I'll call you on Sundays. And she, for ages, it's not always Sunday now. We, you know, we live very busy life, very busy work schedules and things like that.
But definitely still once a week.
Always once a week. And that's been for 3 years now that we've been able to do that. And
I think there was only 1 week we didn't, where I was like deathly sick. But
yeah.
other than that.
Pretty much. No matter what, we always make, and like I said, we are so super busy now, and we're always tired. You know, but we always make the time, even if it's only like a little bit of time, maybe not as long as usual. But I think that would be the answer to that question, is make the time and make the effort.
I feel like if we call for at least, even if we don't have time, like 1 hour a week, yeah.
And that
like,
helps
we just
us.
need that.
And it's great to be able to talk to each other about our weeks and like sort of like do this weekly review. And it for me, and I think for Katie too, it just helps you sort of process the week a lot better. And when you have that person to tell it to, and that is what keeps the bond going, is when you share things. Because how did we bond in the first place? We shared stuff. Like, obviously we shared the things that we like, but we also shared all of our life experiences. And that's what we do now. Like, just because someone's far away doesn't mean they can't still share. And yes, it is hard when someone can't be there, like, in person. There have been so many times that we have wished each other to be there in person. We have gone through some of the hardest things in our lives during the last 3 years that we have been apart. But we have actually gotten closer together because that we've still shared those things. Even if it's only been able to talk on the phone, or like I'll send her 100 million messages like ranting about the same thing, or she'll do it with me. And you know, it's just keeping each other involved in our lives. And it's not just like sharing the hard things, but it's just like the little mundane things about our lives, like how was work, how was this, how was that going, just every sort of because like we are that close, we share everything. And that hasn't changed, and I think it's gotten even more so since we've been far apart. We have to tell each other a lot more, and that has really kept it going, just speaking to each other, sharing things,
it's like actual physically speaking, because I think if you rely on messages die out and you just get busy. And we both don't like being on technology that much if we can avoid it, so that's just why. Yeah,
and sometimes we have so much to say, we're going to end up sending a million messages to try to express it. And I just know that messages don't always convey what you want to say. Sometimes we're too tired to type and all this kinds of stuff. So taking that time just once a week, even if it's only for an hour, I'm sure we can all do that. And the idea that you don't have time, I am firmly against that idea. Like, we make time for what we want to make time for. Ultimately, I think at the end of the day, and like we prioritize things. And so I think that's what's kept our friendship growing and strong, is that we've prioritized it. No matter what, no matter how we're feeling, how busy we are, we make sure to involve each other in each other's lives. And I think communication is everything in any relationship, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendships, whether it's family. Communication is the number one thing, and you might hear that said a lot, but it's so true. You know, things can fall apart without communication, and you start feeling distant from each other. And you know, and for someone who, like, in my experience, all of my friends are long distance. You know, she was my only friend who wasn't, and now she's also a long distance friend. And so I think I can speak from a place of experience and what I've learnt through all of the people that are dear to me being so far away, is that communication is everything. And you can always make the time, even if you have different schedules, just making that time for each other, because it lets that other person know that they're still important to you, and you still care about their lives. And it's been sort of hard as we've gotten older to realize that, you know, and we realize we want a lot of the same things out of life, but I think we have different roads to get there. And, you know, we were so inseparable when we were younger, and we were always together. And so I think it's now learning how to live like our separate lives, but still together in a way. You know, we live in different states, we have different ideas for our future, but we still involve each other in that. And, you know, we're together whenever we can be. And
so that's another thing. It's like we plan ahead to what we can look forward to. It's like we knew we'd see each other at Christmas, so we look ahead to that, and we'll know we see each other early next year. So having those plans of like knowing when we'll see each other again really helps too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's just, we've sort of had to go through this thing where we have to accept that it's not like it was when we were kids. You know, life is different. We're grown-ups now. We have a lot of different responsibilities, and just, you know, we have dreams that we're chasing, and we have different roads that are marked out for us. But that doesn't mean you can't still be close. And I think it's like a different adventure that we're going on. It's not like it was when we were kids, you know. There's so much that that was a little creepy. You know, there's so much we're just trying to figure out how to be adults. You know, and that's been a real challenge for us, I think. And how to be friends as adults, because things do change. But one thing that doesn't have to change is your friendship. Like, certain things change. You know, we can't just have a sleepover every week anymore, unfortunately. You know, we have to travel long distances to see each other because this is where she wants to be. I don't want to live here. You know, I tried. Things like that. And we have to, like, sometimes we want different things, but I think we want the best for each other. And just being able to support each other, even if that means we can't be together as much as we would like to be.
Yeah. Summed it up perfectly. All right.
Yeah. So that's all the questions. How do we want to wrap this up?
Being our 10-ish, I mean 10 years for her, I feel like it's just 10 years for me too, because I have always had Barbie in my life, but specifically loving Barbie and not pitting her against Bratz.
Yes.
It's crazy that it's been 10 years that we've loved Barbie. Like, that feels like just yesterday that we started collecting the movies and everything. It's really insane to think about that.
At the same time, it's crazy to think that there was a time where we did not have this in our lives, at least as prominent as it is. And, you know, my whole personality is based around these things. You know, you can't separate something like Barbie from us and still have, like, us, you know.
It's just such a comfort, honestly.
Yes.
And I think that's been why we're so attached to her, ultimately, because whenever we've gone through some of the hardest times, we can think about the quotes, and they inspire us, or the songs, and they lift us up, or we can watch the movies, and we just feel comfort. Like, we feel like we always have a friend in Barbie.
Yes. Yeah, that's the best thing. I always think, like, Barbie's like my best friend, and she's always there. Like, she's there anytime you want her to be. And like we said, she doesn't really change. And even if you only like the classic movies, just watch the classic movies and have that be Barbie to you. I get so much comfort in the existence of Barbie and what that has been in our lives. Such a positive thing, such an uplifting thing. And it's made me so much of who I am. Like, I couldn't imagine being who I am without it. And that goes for everything I love, but Barbie is something that really stands out, I think. And the last 10 years, she has seen me through so much, both of us. And she continues to do that, and makes me want to, you know, she brings out the best in me, making me want to be more brave, be more strong, be more all of these things, but also be more myself. And yeah, it's been amazing 10 years. Like, my whole world is better because of Barbie.
Exactly. I love you, Barbie.
Yes,
You'll always
so
be a big
much.
part of our lives. Forever.
Yes. And here's to another 10 years, and another 10, and another 10. We'll be old lady. Well, we're already old ladies. But
Older ladies.
Yeah. Still loving Barbie, and yeah, just forever and ever. I love it with all my heart, and I could probably go on and on about all of this. But yeah. Well,
thanks for watching, dolls.
Yeah.
Listening to us for this long. We will see you in the next video.
Yeah. Okay.
And we hope you've enjoyed seeing these videos with us back together again, because I know some of you have been asking. So
yeah, we like making them. So, all right. Well, we'll see you in the next one.
Yes.
Peace.